Hi, my name is Cassandra Sotos. I'm the CEO and co-owner of AmpRx, the creators of the Brown Box, and I'm here in our workshop in Music City. Today, I want to talk about the latest project that I've been working on, which is the 5E3 amp build that I've been making for the NAMM show. We are exhibiting in January, so please come check us out at booth 6021. I've been working on this amp build, and it is my first amplifier that I've ever made. I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I wanted to do it and what we're going to do with the amp. I'm always trying to figure out ways to explain to people why a brown box is important, what it's used for, and why you need to have one. For me, I'm very much a why, what, and how person, and I wanted to really be able to speak intelligently about what's going on inside of your amplifier when you're using a brown box and when you're not using a brown box. So for me, the best way to do that was to build an amp. I've learned a lot along the way, and I've sharpened my soldering skills quite a lot. I've had help from my teammate Zane and from a bunch of people over the phone, which has been incredible. Thank you very much, everyone who has assisted me in this project. We are not done, but I just wanted to check in and tell you what I've learned so far. Zane and I, last thing we did was complete the eyelet board. By the way, I'm really sort of emotionally impressed with myself that I've been doing this. We have a lot of followers that build amplifiers on Instagram and people that we follow back, of course. And somebody was sharing stories of an amp that they were building, and I saw the story and I actually knew what I was looking at, and I almost teared up. So it was really cool. This has been a great learning experience for both Zane and I. So the last thing that we did was that we placed the eyelet board in here, and we're about to hook it up to the chassis, and I think we're pretty close to like really getting this thing going. Like I said, I wanted to be able to speak intelligently about what we're doing here and why the brown box is important, and about the science behind this. I wanted to demystify for myself what's really going on here so that I can demystify it for our followers and for people who are potentially interested in using a brown box. What I can say for sure so far is that this is not magic. What's going on inside of this is not magic. What's going on inside of your guitar is not magic. What's going on inside of a brown box is not magic. The electricity coming out of the wall is not magic. Electricity by nature seems very mystical to us humans here on this planet, but really, this is science. There are equations for this, there's theory behind it, and you can prove mathematically anything you want to about what's going on here. At the same time, amp building and amp design is definitely, without exception, an art form. I'm not claiming to know why all of these little parts in here are working together the way that they do. There are people who understand the difference between the values of these capacitors and resistors, and even the way that you twist the wires and what soldering techniques you use. I don't know that, but I can look at this circuit and tell you that it's not magic, it's science. Amp building is an art. What you do with your instrument once you have all of this system in place, that's the magic. That's the art form. But this is a system, and it's a complete system that starts with electricity, the very first ingredient. So if voltage is like water pressure, how much pressure in electricity are you putting on your amplifier when you plug it into the wall? You plug in your amp, electricity flows through it, you need to have a certain amount of it, certain amount of pressure for everything to work properly. You don't want to turn on the shower and get a little drip drop, right? You need to have adequate pressure, but it's when it's too much that things start to burn out. And a lot of you guys have incredible amps. You have amps that you've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on that have been made artfully, skillfully, chosen for you. You've placed components in them that are really important, and you want them to last, right? So if you're blasting them with voltage, with way too much voltage, they're gonna burn out more quickly. Not only that, they're not gonna perform the way that you want them to. And a lot of this has to do with feel. So you have a system going on here. There's circuitry here, you're putting electricity into it and you're putting signal from your instrument into it. You might be processing that effect somehow another external way. It's an entire system, it's an entire recipe. You have to have the base ingredients correct. You don't want the pipes to burst. You want the water pressure to be just right so that you have a nice hot shower, but you don't want the pipes to burst. So, like I said, this is science. We can work this out. There are equations for this. Ohm's law is the most important thing to us all. V equals IR. That is your Bible now. Amp building is an art. This is science. This is not magic. What you do with your guitar or your instrument of choice, once you plug into this amp, that's the magic part. Let that be the magic part. We're gonna finish this amp next week. Not in time for NAMM. We're gonna finish it early next week. And then what I'm gonna do is put a clear plexiglass back on it instead of the regular back of the cabinet, and put voltmeters across different components on the inside of this so that as you raise and lower the voltage, you can see how the different parts of the circuitry are affected. Thank you guys for checking this out. I'm making update videos while Zane and I are building this. I'm very excited to share the final product once we get to the NAMM show. As I mentioned, we'll be at booth 6021. Please come say hi to us. It's our first time exhibiting. It's this team's first time exhibiting, and I think it's going to be a blast. I can't wait to share with you the updates that we've made to the products and this amplifier, and yeah, just looking forward to seeing everybody.